Joined now by Kyle Rowland from the Toledo Blade. And Kyle, a year ago, the talk of Big Ten Media Days was Urban Meyer, what he knew, when he knew it. He's no longer the Ohio State head coach, yet his shadows still remain. As we heard Mark D'Antonio praise Urban Meyer, certainly Ryan Day with kind words for Urban Meyer, but it was Jim Harbaugh who kind of lobbed a grenade into the fire.
Yeah, I mean, not smart comments, in my opinion, for Jim Harbaugh to say. Number one, I just don't think coaches should be in the business of kind of throwing barbs at other coaches, and certainly not when Urban can't really defend himself anymore, but it's only going to come off as sour grapes. Like, that's the only story that's going to develop from this year. 0-4 against Ohio State. You haven't beat them. You haven't got over the hump. You don't have a signature win. I mean, you can go on and on and on. And to say what he said, you sound like a sore loser. You sound like, a little 13-year-old kid on the playground crying about, grass stains on your clothes or whatever.
Well, and Harbaugh's kind of had a low profile last couple off seasons. This is kind of maybe his way of saying, I'm back, baby, because Michigan, the preseason favorites to win the Big Ten, so now Harbaugh thinks he's got some swagger back.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting just because tomorrow, I don't know when the comments were said exactly. I guess sometime last week probably. They obviously came out today, though. But it changes the whole theme of and things he's going to be asked about tomorrow. I mean, this is going to be a topic of conversation tomorrow and the next couple of weeks, I would think. So I don't know, maybe it was calculated. He wanted to shift the narrative. He doesn't want to answer questions about, you haven't been able to get it done. You guys are the favorites. This is a year. Maybe take pressure off of his team. I don't know what the thought behind it is. But that is one thing I said earlier is this is a guy who's not always open, and I don't want to say he's not honest because I don't think he deliberately lies, but clearly is not an open book during interview sessions. So to say what he said about Meyer means he did it for a reason, because he usually would not say something like that.
As for Ohio State, major topic of conversation, the quarterback position, as Justin Fields is the presumptive starter, yet Ryan Day refuses to name him as the starter. Is that coach speak, or is he trying to send a message?
It's coach speak. I mean, he gave a good answer when asked that exact question, I thought, just saying, this guy just came in January, hasn't been around the team, he hasn't played a game at Ohio State. We're not just going to hand him the job. I understand what he's saying. I don't disagree with that. But Justin Fields is going to be the starter, barring a nuclear explosion or something. I mean, Gunnar Hoke is just, it's not going to happen. He didn't really play at Kentucky. He's not some great prospect. He's not going to come in and light up the world. Justin Fields is the guy. He's the future at Ohio State. 5-star quarterback. He won competitions against Trevor Lawrence, who is obviously all-world at Clemson. So he's going to be Ohio State's quarterback this year.
And he's going to have some talented receivers, as KJ Hill named to the Blitnikoff Award watch list today. Last season was a very interesting team in which the leadership of that team was from the wide receivers, and we might have a repeat of that with KJ Hill and Austin Mack this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think the receivers are going to be a huge help to Justin Fields this year, a guy who is inexperienced in college altogether because he really didn't play a whole lot at Georgia. Just an abundance of talent. They go 6 deep there, basically, I would say. And there's no reason why he shouldn't be able to put up huge numbers. I mean, he's probably not going to put up Dwayne Haskins' numbers because that's asking an awful lot. But, he should have a lot of receivers open. They're able to catch the ball. If you just deliver a well-thrown football, I think you're going to put up a lot of points once again at Ohio State.
Other side of the ball, that Ohio State defense gave up a lot of points a year ago. Whole new looking staff in terms of coaching, and one of the comments Ryan Day made today was, you look at our players, we should be better defensively.
I totally agree. They should have been last year. A lot of it comes down to coaching last year, I think. And Schiano, as much as everyone thought he was so great the year before, kind of, I think, held them back last year. It all starts up front with Chase Young, who was the media's preseason pick as Defensive Player of the Year. Well-deserved, might be the number 1 pick in the draft next year. Just seems like every year Ohio State has a quarterback who's awesome and a defensive lineman who is awesome. And it's certainly going to be the case again. He'll put tremendous stress on opposing offensive lines and opposing offenses. And then linebacker is, I think, iffy. I think the secondary is going to be really solid again. A lot of questions today about middle linebacker, Tough Borland and Mitchell back there. I think it will be interesting battle. I think that's the most interesting battle in fall camp, quite frankly. People are probably going to concentrate on the quarterbacks just because it's the quarterback, it's the glamour position. I think middle linebacker is kind of the story of August for Ohio State.
And what can readers expect from your stuff, both online and the print editions?
Yeah, I will have a big Ryan Day story tomorrow, kind of saying how even though everything's changing, it's all the same. Like, here's this kind of unknown guy. I would still say Ryan Day is a pretty unknown. He's just this 40-year-old guy who was an NFL assistant a few years ago, but you would have never known it today. Hordes of media surrounding him for an hour straight. Fans, autograph hounds seeking him out. When you're the head coach at Ohio State, you are the guy in college football.
All right, thank you very much, Kyle. Rowland from the Blade.